All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Our guest today is based in Atlanta, Georgia. His name is Roger Lopez, and he's been leading marketing and digital product teams for more than 20 years, starting the first digital agency in the desert Southwest at the tender age of 20. He is frequently called upon to be a keynote speaker at marketing events and conferences, presenting on new marketing initiatives like mobile innovation, digital measurement, and growth hacking. So welcome to the show, man.
Oh, awesome to being in part of your show.
Awesome, brother. Yeah, I'm pumped to have you here. A lot of experience, so I'm sure we'll learn a lot. So the first one we ask on this show, Roger, is what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
Probably, the best story of my life happened when I started my agency. I was 20 years old. I had employees that were sometimes 10, 15 years older than me. And, I always knew what I was doing and loved what I was doing. But one thing that I learned back in the day, I came into to present my employees what the plan was for a new customer. And I realized that one of them kind of rolled their eyes on the side. And so I dug a little bit, found, and took one of my employees to find out what was wrong. And one of the things he told me back in the day, he said, you know what, you're a visionary, you love what you're doing, but sometimes you don't know what it takes to build it because you don't have either hands-on technical knowledge, the creative knowledge, and we know we love you. You've been leading this company from scratch, but sometimes you don't know what it takes. And
Yeah.
so I went back, went back home, and I kind of thought about it, what I would do, and I could have done two things: gone back the next day and said, "I'm the boss, do what I say, I'm paying the bills," or I could do what I ended up doing. I just went back and told my employees, "Hey, starting tomorrow, I'm not going to go to the sales calls, so send my team over." And I told them, every day of the week, one week at a time, I'm going to go out in the field with you guys. Teach me how to do video editing. Teach me how to do graphic design. Teach me how to do, I want to, if it means just holding up a light, that's what I'm going to do. And that pretty much just changed the way I became a leader, 20 years later, is always be hands-on, no matter how high a level and removed I would be at C-level, VP level. I always kept in touch with, hands-on with any of the technology or initiatives that, that marketing was doing. And it kind of helped out because as this whole entire digital kind of evolved, it allowed me to see the shift as it was happening. And most
Yeah.
marketers my age, by the time, that were around my time frame, by the time the digital started popping out 10 years later, they were already far removed. They were more of a manager director level. And that shift happened underneath them, and they didn't realize what happened. And those are the executives right now that are afraid of some of the data stuff and the stuff. They're not so native, and they're trying to learn about it and everything. And for me, it was all since I was always hands on, I was able to pick it up as it was evolving, and kind of gave me a head in the digital side above everybody else in my age range and everything. So
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, and you got to lead by example, right? And I think the culture of your company is so important. So I think you made the right decision, by going back and saying like, okay, actually, I do want to know what it takes.
yeah, it costs a little
I
sleep.
want to see it. I want to be involved in it.
Yeah,
So I think,
yeah, no, I totally
yeah, a
agree.
little sleep.
Yeah, it takes,
So
you still got to do your job, that you're having to do as an executive, and you got to find extra time to be able to do it. And that's the thing I tell people is, it's just going to cost you extra time, and you just got to be willing to do it.
absolutely. So my next one for you is, what is the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
The biggest thing, is, if you're in my, age range, as far as if you're on the executive level, is never start learning. Or if you're trying to get into your career, don't think that this is the old school career where, you got your MBA, you got your degree, and now it's about doing it, and you forget, what you forget about learning. The digital world is more like medicine now, that it's evolving on a daily basis, and you don't see doctors saying, "I already learned everything I need to learn." Um, you know,
Yep.
get it done. So you now our field is the point that you're going to have to constantly be learning on a weekly basis because it's evolving, and
Yeah.
stuff that you learned 10 years ago or even 3 years ago is no longer relevant, and you have to come with that understanding that this is how it's going to be forever now.
Yep, dude, I love it. That is a great comparison right there, like medicine. I like that. Next one is, what's your best piece of overall business advice? So not necessarily industry specific.
um, Probably the best business advice is um, be humble. In essence, being humble is that you don't know everything. Don't be afraid to ask. There's always someone who's done it better, and don't be afraid to ask, no matter how high that person is, how unreachable. A lot of times is people think that, oh, I can never ask the CEO of this type of company. If you honestly reach out to those people and give them an honest, question, and be humble about it, you'd be surprised how many times they'll reply, and they'll say, "Oh, you know what? You're the first person who's not asking for a job and truly asking for advice," and
Yeah.
like that. So you definitely always be humble and with the mentality that you want to learn, and then you can actually get incredible advice.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Probably, you're not crazy.
Yeah.
At times you doubt yourself, when you would do things, and and you're thinking you're kind of, you just wasted your time, and it would have saved me a lot of worries that it wasn't going to, maybe I was doing too much. It just kind of more of a reassurance. It probably would have allowed me to have a little more fun than being this paranoid. I'm Hispanic. Being Hispanic in the Silicon Valley to the .com boom, I was 0.00005%. So you have that paranoia that you have to work 10 times as much. So I definitely would have told myself, relax, follow,
Yeah,
have a little fun.
absolutely. And then, so that perfectly leads into the next one. So kind of going a little bit down a different path. In your opinion, what's the key to happiness?
Love what you do. Whatever job, whatever career is, it has to be something that you love. There's too many people who have chosen their careers because it was what made the most money or what they were told. Is love what you do, and that's it. And it'll carry to your family, it'll carry to everything. If you're doing something that you're passionate about, and you would do it for free.
Absolutely. I agree. And then what is the best book that you've read, and what's the number one thing you learned from that?
Back to my answer regarding how things change so fast. So business and in my field, I do not read 1 ounce of books, because by the time it's published, it's too late. So, so the last book I actually said it was worthwhile. It happens to be funny that it's probably one of the most relevant books for people, and it's thousands of years, Art of War.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know, I don't read any books in my industry because, like I said, if it's been published, it's already outdated.
And then what is your favorite quote and why?
Probably can be from the Art War. Like that. The number one quote one of the quotes is paraphrased, because everything's paraphrased because it was originally in Chinese. Is the supreme art of war is winning a battle without ever fighting. So it's really, if you can actually use strategy, you won't have to fight, and that's the supreme thing that you can do. It is be able to win it without actually having to fight.
Yep. I love that, dude. Well, thanks for coming on. The last one I got for you. Where can our listeners best find you online?
Yep, just you can Google me. I'm usually in the top 5, Google person. So just Google Roger Lopez, or even on LinkedIn. I'm probably one of the most connected marketers, top 1% connected marketers now on LinkedIn. So just go to LinkedIn and send me a LinkedIn request. Google, look for me under Roger Lopez.
Perfect, man. Thank you again for coming on.
No problem. Have a good day.